Ciao belli, today we're going to have a short introductory lesson on the verb conjugations in Italian. We're going to concentrate on the verbs that are ending in are. Yeah, okay, so let's start with the following. In English, the verbs can end on so many different letters because English must be the language of freedom, right? To eat ends on T, to speak ends on K, to go ends on O, to amaze ends on E, to electrify on Y, and to growl ends on L. And there's so many others. Truly the language of freedom. So in Italian, the verbs are organized because Italian is the language of order. So in Italian, the verbs will be ending on are, ere, and ire. And you can see that almost all Italian verbs will end on are, ere, and ire. Today we're going to concentrate on this group, on are, so it's the beginning, and we're going to see how they work. You already know the Italian subject pronouns. Here they are, and if you don't, then it would be a good time to make sure that you're completely comfortable with it before you start the business of the conjugating of Italian verbs. So, you already remember that io is I, tu is you, informal. You have, let's go one by one. Io is I, tu is you, informal. Lei is she. It also means you, sir, and you, madam. Most of the time, capitalized L. Lui, it is he. Noi is we. Voi is you, plural, and loro is they. So these are the subject pronouns. So once you know how to use them, you will know that the are conjugation will be created from the root of the verb. And let's say we'll take a verb. Let's see here we have two mice and they are speaking and eating. So why don't we take the verb to speak? So we have parlare. So you see that the ending of the verb is are. And that is what you need to remove from the verb in order to conjugate it in Italian. So this is the first step. So you remove it and you have that parallel, which is the root of the verb, and you use it in each one of these boxes. So you put parallel in each one of them, and then you add the ending to it. And the endings will be io parlo, so you add the O. So the ending will be O. Tu parli, the ending will be I. Lui, lei parla, and the ending will be A. And that A, it is coming right from the infinitive because it's parlare, and so it will repeat the same A. For lei and for lui. For noi, it will be parliamo. Parliamo, and so the ending will be parlate, and the ending will be ate, and parlano, and the ending will be a-n-o. All right, so that's what we're going to do. Let's see the details. So you have here the verbs that end on are, and you have here parlare. So you have here the parlo, parli, parla. Note that it's the same vowel that is in the infinitive, so parlare, so that's where it comes from. Parliamo, parlate, and parlano. Yeah? So it would mean I speak, you speak, he, she speaks, you, sir, you, madam, speak, we speak, you, plural, speak, they speak. Yeah? Uh, so let's take here another verb, and it's mangiare. And you know this verb already. That means to eat. So if you remember on page 1, the mice are sitting there with a piece of cheese and a carrot. And you might tell me that the mice don't eat carrots, and I will tell you it's not true. Healthy mice do eat carrots, and look, he is more fit than the other mouse that eats just cheese. So please, don't give me that. So mangiare ends on are, and you have the root that ends on e. So you have here mangio, and you add o, mangi, and here you have a question. What do you do? Because you need to end E, but the root ends on E. Do you need another E in here? No, you don't. Mangi, it is as it is. Lei, lui, mangia. Again, we're going to have the A that it is right from here, from the infinitive. Noi mangiamo. Voi mangiate. Loro mangiano. So you have here I eat, you eat, she, he eats, we eat, you plural eat, they eat. So you could make sentences now. You know already subject pronouns, so you could say lui mangia la carota. He eats a carrot. Or you could say lei mangia il formaggio. And then you can make sentences about your own preferences, whether you do or you don't eat something. You could say, for example, io non mangio le carote. So that's how you do the negative. You have the subject pronoun that is optional in Italian. All of the subject pronouns are optional in Italian because the conjugations are explicit. And then you put the negative before the conjugated verb. So you have io non mangio le carote. I don't eat carrots. If you wanted to, you could skip that io because Italian is truly the language of freedom, but only while it is the language of order. All right, so let's see here some vocabulary and how to build some sentences. Loro non mangiano la carne. Yeah, so you see la carne right here. For the vocabulary, you see that they are eating something else. Loro non mangiano la pizza. Voi mangiate un gelato? I think that there was a G missing in there. Voi mangiate un gelato? Do you, plural, eat gelato? No, noi mangiamo le mele. And you have here la mela. I topi non mangiano il gelato. Topi, you have here the vocabulary, and we started with it. So you have it here. Mangiano il pesce. Mangiano il pesce. Pesce, right here. Mangiano le mele. Note that I skipped the subject pronoun in here. I could have used it or I could skip it. So I chose to skip it because you do not have to use it. Lo squalo non mangia la mela. Squalo is right here, the vocabulary. Lo squalo non mangia la mela. Il pesce non mangia la mela. Pesce, right here. Mela, right here. Noi parliamo italiano. We speak Italian. I use the subject pronoun here, but by now you are comfortable with using it or skipping it. Io mangio la mela e tu parli. I'm eating an apple and you speak. So that's what we did today. We saw how to conjugate the first verbs in Italian that end on are, mangiare, and parlare. We saw how to build some sentences and we saw how to do affirmative and negative sentences in Italian. So you will remember that the negative will precede the conjugated verb. All right, so let's see if you can conjugate some new verbs on your own. And for that, you will need to memorize the subject pronouns and the endings of the conjugation of the verbs are. And let's see. Let's pretend we have here an adventurous rabbit who is flying on a mocha coffee maker. And so you have two verbs in here, volare, which means to fly, and cantare, to sing. So let's say a rabbit is flying and singing. Could you make sentences about that? And if you need to, you're welcome to go back to the page 1 and to see the conjugations and the subject pronouns. I hope you learned something useful today. And I hope that the conjugation of the are verbs, regular are verbs, is not a problem by now. And I'm going to record the practice on are verbs very soon. Ciao, belli.